Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
3, 2, 1, and we're back. Julie, welcome back. We have a really fun 2-day podcast. What we're going to be sharing with you guys today are very specific, drilled down techniques to develop an endless supply of free, mostly seller leads, but also buyer leads, kind of by a side stream benefit. And I hopefully you heard the key word in what I just said, free leads. And this is something that all of you have access to. It does not require high-level skill or a bunch of fancy funnels or a bunch of fancy Facebook ads. We're going to be giving you a very drilled down, proven to work at all marketplaces and all market conditions and all price ranges system to create an endless stream of really fantastic leads. Oh, sounds like I'm setting the bar high. Well, get ready for this next 2 days. You realize that this is 100% on target, exactly what you've been looking for.
That's right. So get ready to take notes and to take action. Starting with the first fact, your real estate sign is a mini billboard full of lead generation opportunities when outfitted correctly. Each listing should produce a minimum of one more listing in the neighborhood or a competing neighborhood and an endless supply of buyer leads, some of whom also are listing leads. Never pay for leads again.
So you guys got it. What we're going to be focusing on over the next couple of days, there are a lot of the ways that you are frankly not probably doing or not doing at the highest level to create an endless stream of leads from your for sale signs. And, I want you to conceptualize this for a second. What would, say, for example, Google or Facebook or Coca-Cola or, Walmart pay to put, in some cases, a very large sign in the front yard of your front yard or your neighbor's front yard? Imagine if it was legal with zoning, that all these, retailers and all these different, businesses could start paying homeowners to put a mini billboard in their front yard. That would be a $1 trillion business in 2 seconds. It's never going to happen unless you're in the real estate business. One of the greatest marketing tools ever created, and frankly, one of the things that we should, we owe the most to our forefathers in real estate to, is the fact that across the country, I know there's exceptions, but across the country, you can have a billboard with your phone number, your face if you choose to have it there, on the front, in the front of someone's home, and it doesn't cost you anything. Think about that. It's incredible.
It's one of the least appreciated items that we have in real estate, right? In fact, if there's one thing that makes my head explode as a coach, and I can't believe I hear this, I really just... it really causes me great consternation when agents say, "Oh, the market is so hot in that neighborhood, I don't even have to put a sign out there. It's going to sell right away." If you're saying that, you are missing the point of these next 2 days. We're talking about turning it into a lead generation machine. So the second fact is your real estate sign is a moment of truth. Neighbors, agents, buyers, and seller prospects make snap judgments based on how your sign looks. Many listing leads decide to call the agent whose sign they've seen in their neighborhood to interview and list their home.
And that means what?
A moment of truth is something in your real estate practice or in your life that is a snap judgment, right? So I'm going to drive past your sign and, okay, so agent one's sign is laying on the ground. There was a windstorm yesterday and it's in a mud puddle, right? And I can't even see the phone number. So that agent doesn't seem to have it going on. And then I drive past your sign and it looks beautiful. Somebody came by, made sure it was standing up. It's got the things that we're going to talk about. It's outfitted. Sometimes I call that hot rodding your real estate sign so that you can turn it into a lead generation machine. Well, that's a moment of truth. I'm making a snap judgment. You seem to have your act together. I'm going to call you versus somebody else.
Other moments of truth are anytime anybody comes in contact with you. Imagine if you were a retailer and you were, you had a very beautiful store that's someplace on the main street in your particular town. The moment of truth would be your signage. Is the window clean? Are people welcoming when you walk in the front door? Is everything merchandised to the highest level? All those types of things.
First impressions, kind of.
Exactly. That's what it is. A moment of truth is where haven't you guys been in situations before where you were thinking about possibly doing business with somebody, in real life or online, and you had something that just basically triggered you to say, nope, I'm out. Well, that's what you guys are doing when you don't take all your little moments of truth. And there are not that many in real estate because all of us operate virtually, basically, right? Nobody goes into a real estate office. So one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, is your for sale sign. And here's really the big reason why. The best buyers are driving neighborhoods. The best buyers who are ready to buy are driving neighborhoods. They've already gone through the work of figuring out where they want to live. They want to live in the neighborhood where you're taking a listing. And number two, the sellers who should be your sellers that you're going to be listing the next 60 to 90 days obviously live in that neighborhood too. And if you have a very well done for sale sign, you're going to be winning over lots of potential buyers and sellers because of the fact that you have a very well done for sale sign. This sounds so elementary. Oh my gosh, Tim and Julie, why are you talking about this? I can go do a billion, step Instagram campaign because that is top of the funnel. That is the very top of the funnel. You're getting those people that are maybe interested, maybe not, interested for 5 minutes and decide that they're not. You know, how many times do you guys abandon shopping carts? It's one of the biggest problems for online retailers. That is what you're getting at the top of the funnel. What you want are the people that are at the bottom of the funnel, that are better ready to buy, making decisions, driving the neighborhoods, deciding actually, which house they're going to buy. The sellers are then going to look at your sign, look at the effort that you're making, and look at all those tiny little moments of truth that are associated with your sign. Do they call? What happens when they call? For example, do you have a brochure box? We're going to go through all these things right now. And that's the moment of truth for that seller. That seller may have decided that they're going to list their property with the agent that sold them the home. But because you did such a fantastic job on your for sale sign, guess what? You're going to at least have a shot at getting that listing as well. Hopefully you're realizing the importance of what we're trying to help you guys, clearly understand.
That's right. And we're going to start with basic points and get more advanced. So stay with me as we do 5 points today and 5 points tomorrow. Part one, point number one, only your mobile number or your 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com phone number with the extension for the house should go on your sign. Do not allow your sign calls to go to the receptionist, the in-office agent, a virtual assistant, or anyone besides you. It's your hard work. All the leads have to go to you.
Now, I know in some of your markets, and Julie, do you have something on here about metal reflective signs?
Maybe on day 2.
Okay, well, scroll while I'm talking. So in some of your markets, and I know when Julie and I sold real estate in Columbus, Ohio, your broker's phone number had to be on the sign, and it had to be the same prominence as the agent's phone number. And I get that. So here's the way you can work that and do that within the rules of real estate. Is that you're going to have on your, for example, your for sale sign, you're going to have your phone number, your mobile phone number ideally, because that goes with you. And your mobile phone number is one of your assets. It's the one that, your phone number is going to be in all of your centers of influence and past clients' phones. And when they're looking for you, they're going to find you in their directories. You guys understand the importance. So if you are using anyone's phone number other than your cell phone number on your for sale signs, you're making a huge mistake. In many states, you have to have a phone number and you don't have to have 10. Ideally, you don't want any more than 2. Now, how do you make it so that the broker's phone number is the same as your cell phone number? Is you can put on your cell phone bill the fact that it's, Bob Smith / EXP Realty, right? You just have to, the state guidelines you'll discover are not very specific. And as long as it's the broker's phone number and the broker is listed, how do you prove it's the broker's phone number? It's listed on the bill, then you're going to be right as rain. And you will have to maybe, adjust that accordingly, but that's the way you can always have your phone number. And your broker is going to tell you, if you have a broker that's telling you, my phone number has to be on your signs and it has to be this big font, it's time for you to move brokers because that broker, and I'm sorry if some of you are brokers, your skin's crawling with hearing me say that, but let's just be honest, you know as well as I do, that's what's in your best interest, not what's in your agent's best interest. So agents, I just said something kind of controversial, but it's true. Always control your phone number. Always have your phone number on your signs, but that should not be your most prominent, dominant phone number that's on your sign.
Okay, point number 2, use 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com. That's 1-800, those are the numbers, 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com to capture leads that you would otherwise lose. Now, pay attention to how this works, and you guys can log in and get more details. This system captures unlisted numbers, blocked numbers, and calls coming in at all hours. You'll have more leads of higher quality using this system. It's also an amazing competitive listing tool. That's a side point. So go to 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com to learn more and turn your sign into a lead generation machine.
I know we're going to be talking a lot about 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com. And oftentimes, Julie and I get the question, if you guys were to get back into real estate, what would you do? And I'll answer your question right now. What would we focus on for lead generation? We would focus on expired listings and centers of influence and past clients. That's what we would do first. What would we have in all of our signs? 100% we would use 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com at the top of all of our sign writers. And I'm going to explain, Julie and I will explain to you over the next couple of days exactly how you can use it. It is the most powerful lead capture system we've ever seen that's going to, frankly, make it so you're going to have conversations with the actual best buyers and sellers in your marketplace. Now, you do have to have a listing to make this all work for you. And if you don't have any listings, you can probably go to listing agents in your marketplace and ask them if you can put a 1-800-HOME hotline rider on their signs. Or maybe you could just have an extra little corrugated sign put in their yard. And then why would they want to do that? Because you're going to help them sell the listing and they're not doing it otherwise. Or frankly, they might not even value the sign calls they otherwise would be getting.
That's right. Point number 3. And again, you guys can check out more in depth at 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com. Point number 3, install a clear, weatherproof home brochure box on every listing every time. Stop calling your brochures flyers. Flyers are what are handed out on the strip in Las Vegas. They're home brochures. You have high quality, full color home brochures. Use a simple but inviting description, lots of pictures, and of course your phone number. Give the seller 50 more brochures to restock their sign. This is one way they also know that you're doing a great job for them because those brochures are flying out of their box every day.
So here's some advanced coaching on this. Julie and I know this company is still in existence. It's called Reflective Real Estate. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow, about your actual for sale sign. But there are brochure boxes out there that have self-closing lids. Where Julie and I sold real estate in Columbus, Ohio, it rained a lot. And where you live, probably the same.
Rain, snow, sleet, hail, you name it, you got it.
Exactly. So you put all these really nice home brochures in there, and then 2 days later, they're ruined because the last buyer that came by and grabbed one obviously didn't close the lid. So you want to get the brochure boxes. They're plastic. Julie said the full clear ones, but there's others that are going to be more weather resistant that have the self-closing lids.
Those are cool.
And those are, and the front of them's clear. Now, again, home brochures. Why is that important? Because it differentiates you in the marketplace. Your home brochure itself becomes a very powerful advertising. We all agree at this point that a for sale sign is incredibly valuable. Well, why not put a home brochure on the for sale sign? And know the home brochure should not just be about that particular home that's for sale.
That's the next point, foreshadowing.
Okay, sorry, I'm jumping on Julie's next point. Sorry. It should be something that they stop in their car or when they're walking by and they grab and they then realize, holy tamale, look at the effort this agent's making and look at all this additional information that's available. Next point.
Next point is number 4, using your 1-800-HOME hotline number and specific extension on the back of your brochures, advertise for information on all homes available and upcoming homes in the XYZ school district or subdivision. Call this number. Become the specialist in that neighborhood or MLS code. Be the one everyone calls to find out about listing activity. Maybe the caller needs a 4-bedroom and your listing is only a 3-bedroom, but they love that neighborhood. Don't lose that lead. Make the phone ring by having all of the information that the caller is looking for. Now, that's pretty advanced.
Well, here's another thing. On the front of the brochure should be the information about your seller's, the home for sale. And it should include lots of pictures. By the way, you can use GPT to write descriptions, but we'll strongly suggest you don't have long descriptions on your brochure. You have lots of pictures because people are going to want to have pictures. And then you're going to have a brief description and you're going to tell them basically for more information on this home, call your 1-800 number. When you sign up for 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com, you're going to get your own exclusive 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com phone number, but you're also going to get each listing is going to have its own extension. You're going to set all this up. We're not going to really, give you too much detail because we want you to go over to 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com. Look at the picture on the main site of what the for sale sign looks like, and you guys will get instantly what I'm trying to express to you. But on the brochure itself, it's on the front is the information on the home for sale. On the back, you can have the other listings that are in the neighborhood.
As long as you say that they came from the MLS.
You have to put a little star and say source from the MLS. You can have offers. You can do, for example, a free CMA offer on their home. You can do something where maybe you're offering to help them lower their property taxes by having a CMA offered, and whatever. You can do all kinds of different things. Your job is to put a bunch of interesting, seductive offers on the back of the brochure and the potential competing homes for sale. If you're in a marketplace and you're blessed with lots of new construction, you want to give them a list of all the new homes that are also for sale that they might not know about, new construction homes that are for sale. Call 1-800-555-1212, extension 700, and you're going to then set the system up, and you can do this with 1-800-HomeHotline.com, that it will then, frankly, text them or email them a list of all the information that's for sale. When they do that, you call capture them. That's the reason that this works. 1-800-HomeHotline.com is a complete loop. You're providing information, but anytime anybody calls a toll-free number, it could be 877-1-900-800-888, doesn't matter. Whenever anyone calls a phone number that that the person who's paying for the call is, obviously basically when you're calling an 800 number, the company you're calling is paying for you to be on that phone call, and they then get a report of all the people that called. So this technology has been around for a long time. So if you call, 1-800-555-1212 and you're wanting to know about extension 5432 or whatever it is, that agent is going to get texted, and that you're going to get all the information of the person calling. So let me break it down. Someone is parked in front of your listing. There's a for sale sign in the front yard. It says, for free 24-hour recorded info on this home, call 1-800-555-1212, extension 321. Whatever you've assigned to that particular listing. The prospective buyer, or maybe a seller, is then going to call the number. They're going to listen to the description, and then what's going to happen is as the agent who owns the phone number, you're going to get texted with the phone number of the person who just called. So the person sitting in their car listening to a description of this particular home that they might be interested in, or maybe they're thinking about selling, you then are going to get texted with their phone number, and then you're going to call them back.
And you'll know what they called on too.
Yeah, you're going to know what home they called about. So you're going to call them back, and this is what you're going to say. Ring, ring. And they're going to say hello, and they're going to be surprised. And they're going to think you're an AI robot. I'll just tell you right now. And you're going to say, hi, this is Tim Harris with eXp Realty. As a courtesy, when people call our 800 number, we like to give them a quick call back to see if they have any questions about the home they called about. And then they're going to say, well...
Say, what? Are you a real person?
Yes, exactly. They're not going to be expecting you to call them right back. They're not going to be expecting any agent, remember Moments of Truth, to be that efficient. Now, what if they were a neighbor who's thinking about putting their home for sale, and now you're calling them right back? Don't you think they're at least going to consider you as a listing agent when they put their home for sale because they've seen how urgent you are with following up on buyer leads? Are you connecting the dots in your head, dear listener? Hopefully you are. And then what you're going to say is, well, let me check to make sure the home is still for sale. By the way, which house in the neighborhood are you thinking about selling?
I live down the street. I'm surprised to be talking to a live person.
And now this is really powerful when you're calling people back after 5 o'clock. Why? Because no agents are around after 5 o'clock.
Well, here's what happens if you call the whatever office of the listing, if you even bothered to do so because you had to find that on the sign, not like using 800 Home Hotline. You call, and you know what it says? Spell the last name of the agent you're trying to reach. Well, I didn't write down the agent's name. I wrote down 123 Elm Street. Click. I don't get through to anybody.
Or it's going to a floor agent.
Right?
Or it's going to somebody who's deceptively trying to convince you that they're the listing agent.
Being rerouted to a VA who knows nothing.
You guys get the point? This is how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. You actually do the real work of real estate.
Exactly. And it gets more advanced from there, but that's an exciting one. Was it you that told me, it was either you or one of the coaches told me that they have a client who is using bandit signs to advertise for information about all available new construction in this zip code. And they're using those on corners near new construction. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. Super cool.
The whole point of what you want when you're lead generating, if you're not going to be proactively lead generating by actually making phone calls, is really what makes something work is calling people back urgently. That's the key.
Furiously fast.
That's where hopefully furiously fast lead follow-up. That's what you should be internalizing from what we're saying. You should be calling all these people back urgently. And if you're running through your head a bunch of filters on why you don't want to do it, then I don't know what to tell you. You're just not ready to be a professional real estate person. If you're saying, I don't want to call people back because I don't want to seem too pushy. I don't want to call people back because don't want to surprise them. I don't want to this.
Because you don't want to answer their questions when they have it at the time that they're asking.
Because you don't want to be inconvenienced to actually call back and do, that's the reason you're stuck with working with all these unmotivated buyers. That's the reason you have ups and downs in your income, assuming you have any income at all. That's the reason you're worried about whether you're going to be in business in 90 days, because of the mindset you have about being of service to other people. Furiously fast lead follow-up is about great salesmanship, for sure. It's about being of service to others, for sure. But really what it's about being what the consumer ultimately wants in the real estate professional. The reason when you hear, post-closing surveys of, people, mostly NAR used to do these, rate your experience with your real estate professional. How did they do this? The thing that people always complain about is lack of lead follow-up. So you want to know how to differentiate yourself in your market and the marketplace. This is how you do it. You actually are the person that they are looking for, and you've proven it by your actions, not just because you do a TikTok every day of you having lunch.
Exactly. Okay. Our final point for today, number 5, recognize that not all calls that seem like just another buyer call are only buyers. Use the script every single time. Which home in the area do you plan on selling? Buyer leads are listing leads in disguise. The first calls on your sign or home brochure box are almost always listing leads, neighbors checking the price. We had that happen time and time and time again. I used to love those calls.
I will never forget this because it was one of our largest series of commissions. I was standing in the kitchen in our home in New Albany, and it was probably like 8 o'clock at night. We'd just taken a new listing, and all I remember is the house was white and it was really nice. It was like a big Cape Cod.
Yep.
And we got a call on this new listing, and we just put the sign in the yard. Of course, our 800 home hotline rider was on the sign. Like I said, it was 8 o'clock. Yeah, I think it even was on a Friday or Saturday night. The last thing I wanted to do was call a lead back.
I remember this.
Yep. And I did. I called him back. I'll just never forget the experience because I'd done this thousands of times, right? And we taught all of our agents to call leads back. But this one in particular really shocked me because a series of events that happened afterwards. So I called him right back. It was a man, and he was shocked that I was calling him back on a Friday night at night. And then I was there to answer all of his questions. Well, it turns out this guy was the new CEO of a really big company, and he was the first one relocating to Columbus. And then he was followed by like 20 other executives who were also going to be looking in similar price ranges. How amazing was that? They were all moving from like California, and they were equity rich, moving to New Albany was essentially what was happening. And so from that one call, that guy then told all of those agents to work with Julie and I. I'm sorry, all those
relocating executives.
Relocating. Now, where was the dominoes? Obviously, we got all those transactions. And then when those people then relocated to other divisions of this big ass company, then they listed those houses with us. From that one call, calling those people, doing what I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to do it at the highest level, being urgent with my lead follow-up. You guys see how all these dots connect? This is not hard. Selling real estate at a high level is not difficult. Selling real estate at a high level and making lots of net profit is not difficult. Those leads didn't cost anything. There was no referral fee. There was no anything associated with that other than me doing what I didn't want to do when I didn't want to do it at the highest level and being of service to that customer. I didn't put my disdain for wanting to work on Friday night or calling someone back.
I hate buyers.
Exactly. I'm going to delegate it. I'm going to have one of my team members call them back, or I'm going to have a Filipino or
just
a VA.
Another buyer.
Exactly. Nope. I saw it as an opportunity, and some of you are getting what I'm saying, understanding what I'm saying, and a lot of you have had similar experiences. That's where the money's at in this business, is doing what other people aren't willing to do. And it's at the bottom line. This is a great system to put in place immediately. So go to 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com and understand, guys, the more challenging the market becomes, the more important it's going to, as there's, let's just say worst case scenario, there's fewer leads. There's fewer viable customers out there. The way you're going to win them is not through marketing and branding. The way you're going to win them is getting to them first. And 800HOMEHOTLINE.com is one of the best ways we know to be ahead of the line, not just prospective buyers, obviously, but the neighbors who are also thinking about selling. And yes, it does all start with having a listing. So what's the next natural step for all of you guys? Learn how to be listing agents. Learn how to be listing agents urgently. And you can join Premier Coaching just by going to premiercoaching.com or click one of the links in the description, or if you're listening on YouTube, just scroll down. It's all there. And join Premier Coaching. And yes, you can join Premier Coaching right now for free. So get ready for day 2. And we're looking forward to having all of you send us lots of messages about how you put your 800 home hotline system in place and how you got lots and lots of transactions. So your homework from today's podcast is very simple. Go to 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com and give it a try. I believe it's free for the first 30 days.
And even after that, I think it's like $37 a month or something.
I
I was just going to bug you that we hadn't said how inexpensive it is.
It's $37 a month, unlimited leads, unlimited calls.
Yes, and you said at the top of the podcast something important, which is if we were to get back into selling real estate full-time today, what we would do. Of course, we would proactively lead generate in the first place so that we would have something to apply 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE to. But I think it is possibly the thing that provides the most overwhelming value because it's free for the first month and it's $37. I mean, one deal will pay for a lifetime service, It's crazy. I remember it worked so well for us that we had to be careful that when we closed something that we didn't immediately use that extension because we would have to reset what house it went with.
In other words, the sign writer, we'd have sign writers made. And so you guys will make say, for example, your magic numbers to have 10 listings at all times. And so every listing that you take is going to have a different extension. So your phone number might be, you get a unique phone number with 800-HOMEHOTLINE.com. So your phone number might actually be, 1-888-555-6432, right? That's your phone number. Nobody else is going to have that phone number. That's yours. And then each of your listings that will have its unique extension. So you're going to want to have, say, 10 sign writers made ahead of time. Maybe the first sign writer is, that phone number and then, extension 100 or extension 200. And I want to say this too, Julie, you're actually triggering me to think of something. I have seen you guys send me pictures of your 800-HOMEHOTLINE.com signs and sign writers, but you didn't follow the instructions. I got one picture, we talked about this last year, of someone who subscribed to the service, was very proud of themselves, posted a picture. They sent me this picture and it was also on Instagram, but it was a mess. Mm-hmm. There was their phone number, their broker's phone number, and then the 800-HOMEHOTLINE.com sign writer. They had not followed the instructions on what the words were supposed to say.
It won't work.
And the phone numbers were the phone number is too small.
Yeah.
The writer must say, do not change this. It must say for free, 24-hour can be, HR, info, not information, info on this home, call, then the number, then the extension, and use an obnoxious color. Make it bright. Make sure it doesn't bleed with the background too much, but make that so that when people look at it, boom, there it is. When you subscribe, do put both of your broker's phone number and your broker's name and your own name. That way, if you're in a state that does require there's equal prominence with regards to that stuff. I just told you guys how to work that. Talk with your broker and your office manager. Talk with your state. Call your state directly. Get approval ahead of time. But that's really what will work for all of you. Use this system, 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com. If you don't have any listings yet, you can use this and ask the listing agents frankly, if you don't have any listings yet, join PremierCoaching.com. We'll show you how to take listings. Yeah. But in the interim, definitely use this and on other listing agents' signs. And don't be surprised if you find, maybe new builders as well, don't be surprised if a lot of these agents with listings aren't even putting signs in the yard. So they're not going to care whether you put a sign in your yard. They're not doing anything with it anyway. Okay? So hopefully you guys are motivated and excited.
Crazy.
Now it's time for you to get into action. Go to 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com. I'll talk with you, and Julie and I will talk with you on the show tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.